Good afternoon, welcome once again to Blakey's Bootroom here on Wales Online in the midst of another rather busy week at Cardiff City. Nathan and Phil in the studio to discuss all the big issues, and the big issues are 3 new signings, possibly a fourth. Neil Warnock certainly making his mark. What have you made, Phil? I know you had a week off last week, you missed all the drama.
Been on holiday, Phil has. Been on holiday.
Well, they've obviously found a few pennies down the back of the sofa from somewhere. It's a fascinating one, isn't it? Because obviously for some time there's been a lot of talk about cutting the wage bill and the finances of the club. These are 4 players who big reputations. They won't have come particularly cheap. I know they didn't have a club. So it's a gamble. It's definitely a gamble, but I think ultimately it's probably a reflection of just how good they think Neil Warnock is, just what they think he's capable of, and I think they clearly think that he can take them right up near the top. Players like Junior Hoylett reportedly on about 40 grand to keep. I mean, he won't be on it anywhere near that now, but just goes to show what kind of calibre of footballer we're talking about there. This is very exciting stuff. Particularly Junior Hoylett. I mean, if you can get him playing his best, he's a really good player, and also what Cardiff have missed: pace, bit of flair.
So
Didn't
we mention him?
Interesting stuff.
He was mentioned last week, Junior Hoylett. He was, yeah.
I think you heard it here first, didn't you?
Yes, why not? Absolutely. Well, let's go through them then one by one. Let's start with Junior Hoylett. I mean, the big question, if you're a fan, that I think you ask about all these players is, why are they free agents? Why Junior Hoylett? You've just described him, really exciting player, not particularly old.
He hasn't had a great.
Why does nobody want him?
His career. Well, I think QPR did want to sign him. I don't think they wanted to sign him on the money he was on. Yeah, and you have to say, since he's left Blackburn, he's probably had a dip in his performance level. Well, he has a dip. So I would say you're trying to get back to what you were, and he's about 26 now.
Yeah.
So he's at the point of his career where you tend to. Some players grow up a bit earlier. 21, 22, 23, some a bit later. He's at that age now where he can't literally say he's got no reason for not performing then. Do you know what I mean? He's moved club, he's with a manager he likes. He's got to rebuild his career, if you like, and fulfill his potential.
What type of player is he then? Is he out and out pacey winger?
Yeah, I mean, he can probably play off the right or the left. I think the reason he left QPR was that he thought he could get a Premier League move. He was talking to Premier League clubs. There was a few who showed an interest, but it just never quite materialised.
That's because his performance level wasn't where it is, and sometimes you've got to, as a player, and I think this is a general problem within today's game. You think even without performing, I can still get the best of everything and the highest wage and what have you. Listen, if you're not performing on the pitch, you're not going to get top wage, top club, and it's probably above all a reality check for him that he has to perform in order to get back to where he believes he belongs in his head, which is Premier League football. Now, whether that be with Cardiff City or someone else, but what he's going to have to do for Cardiff is play to his potential.
Yeah, absolutely. And Sol Bamba then, another one, probably a position centre-back that we wouldn't have thought Cardiff needed strengthening if you look at other areas of the team, but I think Warnock has pinpointed the leadership qualities.
I think Neil probably feels like is the centre-halves that he's got. I mean, we all know they're all of a good level, but probably don't have that. They're not great talkers. You get a sense from the sideline. I think Sol's known in the game as a bit of a big character, and I think Neil thinks he's someone to come in, organise, talk to players. Slightly disappointed with that because you've got the young lad Ajay, who was coming through and had a really good pre-season. I guess this knocks him further down the pecking order, so I was a little bit disappointed with that. But that's where they are, and you have to say that for all Cardiff have got some good centre halves, they haven't really performed this season.
I think it's disappointing for the young lad, but you can't. He's not right now. You need leadership.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, what I would say, the positive I would take for the young lad is to watch someone like Sol and learn from him, because it's not just leadership on a Saturday or a Tuesday night. It's within the dressing room, how you are with other players, how you are with the manager, the staff. captaincy is like, you know, captain sensible. It's not, you don't have to be the best player to be the captain sort of thing.
Well, what he said today, I mean, Sean Morrison will remain, at centre-back, will remain his captain, he said today. Is that the partnership then for Friday night, do you think? Does Bamba come straight in? Is it too early?
Play?
I mean, Warnock intimated that all three would be involved in some capacity. I don't think all three will sort of play 90 minutes. But it's also, I understand he's tried to sign Bamba on quite a few occasions, the last few clubs he's been at. So that was obviously one that, when he realised that he was available, he moved very quickly for. I mean, the other thing, of course, is that Bamba's got a 2-year deal, whereas the other ones are very short term. So they obviously don't just see Bamba as a stopgap. No. They obviously see him as a genuine player and someone who will come into the team, I think.
What does it mean with somebody, just asked, Nick asking here, does it mean something for Bruno Manga? Do you think Manga has a future at the club, or does the signing of Bamba suggest that maybe they might take a fee for Manga in January?
The other thing is Manga will be off to the African Cup of Nations in January. That's the other thing. So Bamba is an Ivory Coast international, but he hasn't played for them for quite a while. So that will stop them losing a body in January. And I think, I don't know for certain, but I think it's clear that Bruno, I think he probably would have left in the summer had a bid come in of the right value. It never materialised. You have to say he hasn't performed great this season. I don't think that's a situation that's particularly well managed. I would be surprised if he stayed. So there probably is something in that. Yeah, certainly in January when they'll lose Manga either way for a month. So.
Reza here saying it's taken Warnock just a week to see the weaknesses in this team. Trollope failed to address them, brought in Emmy Hughes, didn't play him. What was the point? Bamba and Morrison will be a good partnership for Friday.
Well, let me just say, we don't know if Bamba's up to scratch fitness-wise.
Well, no, none of these guys have played.
No, I wouldn't be putting him into. I wouldn't be putting him into a derby.
Junior
I'll tell you that Friday.
Junior Hoyle's had a bit of international football, so he's probably a bit closer than the others.
Yeah, but I don't think there's anyone who can say out of the Connolly and two other centre halves, he's a definite. It'll definitely be Manga, or definitely be Morrison, or definitely be Connolly. It might make two of them raise their game to the point where Bamba doesn't get in. The football's funny. There's no guarantees. I would have thought once Bamba's up to scratch, he'll be Warnock's man. He's his leader, sort of thing, and it'll be him and another. But who that another would be, we'll see. No. Same as Manga has the same. Sorry, John. Manga has the same problem as Junior. You now have to rebuild your reputation. You have to play at the level where people in the Premier League are going, yeah, okay, we remember why we really fancied him. Because if you're struggling to get in a championship team, it's easy to say, oh, my agent, yeah, blah, 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 and move to a struggling, maybe Premiership team. And then what happens? Because you think you can just pick up your form all of a sudden, when most players will tell you it's very difficult to do so. You have to play your way into it. If you go and have a game or two which is a bit rocky, you find yourself in the cold. That's if you get in the first place. Find yourself back in the cold. So, they've all got work to do, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Reader there just mentioned Paul Trollope. Phil, I know you were speaking to Sean Morrison earlier this morning. What have the players had to say about
the inside? What's the scoop? Come on, Phil.
Well, I think it's a bit of a. I don't think anyone seems to be able to quite put their finger on quite why it went as badly as it did.
I can tell you.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I think the players. I don't think there's any doubt that they seriously respected Paul as a coach. I think everyone would say that Paul improved that team when he came in as a coach. But we all know management's a very different game.
I think from, and this is not me having any sort of inside scoop or knowledge, but when you're a number two, it's difficult to go to a number one at the same club and have the same sort of respect from the players. And the players, they might have all said we respected him and we thought he was great and all that, but there's that lack of fear factor. Do you know what I mean? Whereas you were very close to that person, or that person didn't have the authority then to be able to dictate to you, and now they do. I just don't think players have that same fear factor for a manager who goes, or for a person who goes from number two to number one. I think it's very, very difficult. I don't think you find many success stories where that's happened at the same club, where a person has gone from number 2 to number 1 and been really successful. I don't think you'd find many examples of that. There probably are out there, but there wouldn't be many.
It's difficult, isn't it? Because the coach or the assistant manager quite often plays the good cop, don't they, to the manager's bad cop. That's how it works, and it's difficult to then. This is the same person to flip that around. You know, there was Warnock was talking this morning in his press conference about some of the goals Cardiff have conceded. Players not heading the ball away, not clearing it. He just had this little glint in his eye, and I thought, I wouldn't want to be the centre half who doesn't head that ball away, you know, and the team scores.
Well,
it's just got that aura.
They're basic fundamentals. We've said it on this programme many a times. Cardiff are lacking fundamentals right across the board. You know, I don't think, we've said they don't press anybody. And when they didn't press as a team, they press in 2s and 3s. So, you know, saying, oh, we'll press is easy, but pressing properly is difficult.
It's another matter. Yeah. I know it's only been a short amount of time, Phil, but sum up on a day-to-day basis how different that club feels just in the space of the week or a few days that Neil Warnock has been.
It's going to be a bite in it, isn't it?
I think everyone's been lifted. I think because I think if we'd said just before Trollope went, he'll come in next, I think we would have probably said, I can't see Warnock coming down here. Nah, the way things are, the way they are on the table, no, I can't see.
Well, they've almost given him free rein, haven't they?
Yeah, but I think now that I think he came in, everyone sort of went, woof, you know, fair enough. That was, I think the speed of it as well. You know, it all moved so quickly, didn't it? And for him just to say, "Yep, I'll come down," it's definitely boosted everyone. I think because
I don't think it's just boosted. I think you'll find that a lot of Cardiff players will be in fear mode. They'll be fearing. They'll be fearing for their place now. I think, and this is the difference between Paul Trollope and Neil Warnock. You could get away with having 3 or 4 bad games, as they were doing, because, like I said, fundamental mistakes. You know, not putting your body on the line for a goal against or something like that as a defender. It's like, well, you just can't play then if that's the case, because that's everything to you is a clean sheet. Like goal scoring is to a striker. What you won't get with Neil Warnock is any player, whether he's 18, 16, 25, 30, across the whole club, any player thinking, oh, 1, I know best, and 2, challenging that authority, and 3, not willing to put their body on the line. Because if you're not willing to put your body on the line with Neil Warnock's teams, I'm telling you now, you won't play. It's not a threat. It's just that is a basic. You've got to go and die on the pitch, right? You've got to, because that's what people do. They'll go and put the whole body, everything on the line. If you're not going to do that for Neil Warnock, you won't play.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's deal with the third of the signings then, possibly the most interesting, only a short-term one at the minute anyway, until January. Mr. Shamak, he of the strange hair, although he's not got any hair anymore, is he? Yeah. What do we make of that one then?
Well, I thought he was one of the players I was going to mention along with Julian Hoylett. But but you know, he's at the age where you're probably looking at the season in the Championship. But what he brings is, like, if he doesn't have to bring, what he has to bring is goals and hold up play. Yeah, if he can deliver goals, because that's what they need more than anything is goals, and they can formulate a way of playing that is conducive to him, or for the team to play to feed him. I think he's a good signing.
I think the idea, as I understand it, is that you've got Ricky at the moment, has got a few niggles and what have you, because he's just coming back into regular football. I think at the moment he's probably not quite up to playing 3 games a week, and I think the idea is that Shamak can come into the team and you can have him in Pilkington sort of playing up front, and Shamak can go up for the headers and Pilkington can play off, and they can kind of rotate a little bit. So I think fundamentally it's just trying to take a little bit of the burden off Lambert, and because you don't want to be relying on a player who's still getting back to their fitness, and he just gives them that alternative, and he can do what Lambert does in terms of winning the headers, bringing Pilkington into play and giving him that little bit
He's
more
probably
freedom.
got, and he can not only play down the middle, he could play up in a 3 as well, Shamak. So he gives you more options than a Ricky Lambert, but he also gives you the option that you have with Ricky Lambert, is the target man.
It's just about,
and the goals.
Yeah, it's about variety, that's what it comes down to. It's about Warnock being able to turn to his bench in 60 minutes and do something different, which Trollope didn't always have. To be able to switch things around a bit, move players around and not put them in positions they're uncomfortable with. It just gives them that bit of variety, I think, is the thinking behind it.
Because if Shamak starts as a number 9, Ricky's not going to play unless he plays 2 up front, 2 big fellas. However, if he played 4-3-3, you could see him saying, right, Junior to the left, Shamak to the right, and Ricky, you go down the middle. That's a possibility. So it gives you options. So I think, and for the length of time, he's not gone, oh, here's a 3-year contract. I think he's almost saying, okay, here's if you earn another year on the back of it. Go and score 15 goals for Cardiff City now. You'll be a hero, they won't let you go.
What about the character of Shamak then? If you didn't cover Cardiff City, if they hadn't just signed him and I said to you, tell me what you think of Shamak, what would you say?
Well, it's difficult because, he was a bit of a flop at Arsenal, but with the greatest respect to Cardiff, what you need from your second choice striker at Cardiff is very different to what Arsenal need from their first choice striker. It's a completely different. And listen, Tony Pulis got quite a lot out of Shamak.
I thought he was decent at Arsenal.
Yeah, but what I mean is the pressure on him to be up there with your Higuains. Well, that's not the level it's at.
He's not a Thierry Henry.
No, exactly. But that's.
But at the time of your Nicholas Bentners and all that, he was
And Tony Pulis, who probably has a fairly similar management
got a lot
out of him.
Palace,
Crystal Palace fan, he was a cult hero. So, hopefully we can we can have the same down here.
No, he will, because when the phone don't ring. Trust me, at that stage and it's October and then the phone rings, you are thinking, whew.
Yeah, well, I'm sure. So what's he said about him today? It's a deal until January, but
he said if he does well, he'll stay. If he doesn't, he'll leave. There you go. He knows where he stands.
That's what I'm saying, though, Phil. Every player will know where they stand. I love that about managers. I can't stand managers who say one thing and do another. Just straight talk me and let me know. Simple as that.
Yeah. Okay. So what about the players who are there already then? Who do you think Neil Warnock will come in, all the things we talked about? We'll go into that dressing room and say, I like him. I like him.
I don't know about who I like, but he will...
Will he say you don't like him?
He will fire up the likes of Gunnarsson. You better get back up to where you were in the Euros. Rowles, if you don't start to put your foot in and dig. Whittingham, can't afford any luxuries, can't carry anyone at the bottom. If you don't willingness to do more than what you're doing, you could go across the board, because we've sat here and said it many times. For the squad Cardiff have, they are underperforming. They're not overperforming or performing at the level which you would expect them to be at. They were under par, hence why they're bottom of the league, or second from bottom. So he will elevate them, definitely.
I think one player will invest a lot of time in is Nooney. I think he's identified him as someone who can make big improvements in a short amount of time, and someone who I think he's the kind of player that you can see playing in one of Warnock's sides. You can imagine him in Warnock's QPR team or his. So I think Nooney's someone who, as Blakey says, every player will have to perform, but I think he'll see someone as he can identify and make a big impact with in a short amount of time, and which would be great. I mean, if you could get Nooney and Junior Hoylett playing well in the same team, that is just a completely different Cardiff City we're talking about. Completely different.
Yeah, you seen Noon last year. I remember going up to the Wolves game and he was unbelievable. 2 great goals, unbelievable performance. Almost scored a hat-trick with a volley. But wasn't in the team from the beginning of the season and was kind of coming on doing well and then not starting, and that kind of knocks confidence, and he's basically just drifted away from his best since that, really. You know what I mean? His height probably last season was the Wolverhampton Wanderers away game. Since that game, he's not really hit them heights again, but we know he's capable of it. But it's funny, isn't it, when you're not happy or you're not confident in your manager, and it's okay all the players saying to the press, oh yeah, we really respected Paul and blah, blah, blah. But I always say, players ain't going to tell you anything else. They're not going to say, well, his training was pants and this and that. And they're going to tell you what you want to hear. Do you know what I mean? So you never get a true reflection of what goes on in the dressing room actually stays in the dressing room.
Yeah, no, fair enough. What about somebody like Peter Whittingham? Will Neil Warnock
fire him?
Will he be a lover of the Whittingham ways?
I mean, Whittingham's a unique player. Neil Warnock knows this division over the last 10 years probably better than any other manager. So he'll have seen Whittingham at his best, and he'll know what he's capable of. When
I say fire him, I don't mean you're fired.
That was a bit harsh.
I mean, he'll fire him up, and Neil Warnock's the sort of man who's not going to have to say to Wits, with your experience, you need to get going. Wits will automatically know, I've been sat in my comfort chair, I can't do it now. And that's the difference mentality as a player. He'll know what I could get away with under Paul Trollope, what I could get away with under Russell Slade, because I'm a legend of the club and been here so long and done so well for the club over the years. Under Warnock, that kind of thing, it doesn't matter. If you're not playing well now, you're no use to me. And he wouldn't think twice of saying, out you go.
Yeah.
Next in, because at the end of the day, they need results. And, the manager is judged and hired and fired on results. So he's going to get everything out of every person who plays for him. So that's what I say. There's, your Mangas, your Morrisons, all of them. I guarantee you, as soon as the club said, and it was on the back of the paper, Warnock in, all of them would have had a mind change. Every one of them.
Yeah, good stuff. You're talking about the new Cardiff there, both of you. You're talking about, imagine, Hoylett down one wing, Noon down the other, Shamak could play as a three. You haven't mentioned Kadeem Harris, who was the saviour.
I was actually coming
a couple of weeks ago. Where does Kadeem Harris fit into Neil Warnock's
Junior Hoylett can play left. And if, it depends what Neil Warnock sees in training, whether he thinks, because I also think, like Phil said, he'll get into someone like Noon. I think he's great for the young lads as well, because he'll give you the reality of what you need to do to be in my team. No bones, that's what I like. No, well, sometimes you're playing, sometimes you're not, sometimes you're left back, sometimes you're... No, you're a winger. I want to see you the best wing play you're capable of doing. I want to see you produce. You're a winger, you're a right winger, your job is to get down, get outside, get crosses in the box for my strikers, or come inside and get shots off, or when the ball's on the opposite side, being at the far post, and be defending when we need you up and down. Right? Simple, straightforward. Do that, you play. Don't do that, you don't. That's what I love about, keep saying my era, it makes me sound like about 70. But my era and people like Neil Warnock from that era it still reflects the old school. You talk as a man in the dressing room. People still get face to face if you're losing 3-0. You don't accept it. 9 times out of 10, it's someone's fault, or collectively our fault because we're not at it. And the young lads will benefit greatly from it. And I would love to see him, Warnock, go into the academy and let those players know in the academy what is needed as a first team player. Because right now the culture in Cardiff is too soft, too nice, listen, can you imagine the way if you 2-0 down, where he would be speaking to some of the young lads? Listen, you're a man, 18, boom, you're a man. You get spoken to like a man. It's no good crying and bleating. If that's the case, step aside, let someone else in. So I'm looking forward to this period. I really am.
I think Kadeem will definitely stay part of the first team picture. I know he's made a big impression. I think with maybe in the short, yeah, he will. He will. But I think in the very short term, when he hasn't got a lot of time to drill the team, I think in terms of what's expected defensively,
he'll go for experience.
I think, to begin with, which is where someone like Nooney will get the nod, because
he's going to be under pressure though, Noon.
Yeah.
He's going to have to fire straight away, because...
But I think with someone like Kadeem, there might just be a little bit more time to, this is what I need from you, let's go and see if you can do it. But I think in the short term, talking about huge game against Bristol City, huge game against Sheffield Wednesday, huge game against Nottingham Forest. I think he'll go to the players that he knows he can get through to a little bit quicker, and we'll have that instant understanding of what they've got to do.
I don't think it's nailed on for Noon to start. See, if I was knowing Neil Warnock, I would say he probably looked at the last 4, 5, 6 games, and is probably having a real dilemma of whether to say that young lad looks like, because you can't stay a young lad forever. What's Kadeem now? 23, 24?
Yeah,
it's not a young lad no more. So it's no point saying, oh, well, I'll give him a bit of a time to be able to speak. Listen, you've been saying you want an opportunity. You get the opportunity. You got to be able to play 46 games a season. Tuesday, Saturday. Your body's got to be ready for it. The physical demand is massive. So I think, he might, especially in a big game. I think what he does, he makes you, he gives you that confidence by giving you the shirt, but then you've got to give me back the reason why I'm giving you the shirt. There's 11 players and there's 11 places and 22, 25 men. Do the maths. Only one of you can play. So do I have time to put my arm around Noon? Am I going to get as much out of him offensively? Because still, his confidence is knocked. So he'll feel more confident that Warnock's in. But once you get on the pitch, your timing's off. You're not used to pushing the ball past the people and things like that. Well, Harris is. So me personally, don't be surprised if Harris doesn't start.
Okay, well, we'll find out soon. On the team then, a couple of comments here. Ponty Blue saying, I think Bamber and Hoylett will start, Lambert to be replaced by Shamak after 70 minutes or so. A couple of people saying similar things. Not necessarily for this game, but going forward over the weeks. What is Cardiff City's best 11 now? Because we haven't talked about Kieran Richardson either, which is obviously the news of today. Could be a fourth signing.
Kieran was at Sunderland for a long time when I was a season ticket holder up there, when I was a young boy still in love with football.
Your opinion, Phil?
Kieran's been, in my opinion, a big victim of a player who's decent in a lot of positions and has never nailed one down. And I think, particularly at Sunderland, where he went through a lot of managers, one week he was playing left back, the next he was playing as a second striker. The guy's got a natural eye for goal. He always had that, and he's quick. In terms of my verdict on what he'll bring, I would say it very much depends on where he's going to play him. Because if it's as a left back, I've got my reservations. If he's going to use him a little bit further forward, then I think potentially I could see him making an impact. Again, he offers options.
Do you not think his quality is stepping down to the Championship because he's still at a good age? Do you not think his quality would automatically push him to be able to play? Like you said, he can play so many different positions. But if he played left back, he'd be solid, and over time he'd be a plus.
I don't see him as a left back.
I don't see him as a left back. I see him as a left winger. I think his best position is left wing, if you ask me. But he can play centre mid, he can play right mid, he can play left back, he can play anywhere really and truly, because he is that type of player. But
he gives you options, and I think, and like I say, he
gives you experience as well. Good experience.
Yeah, and we've complained so much about a lack of pace. Kieran is quick, and he will bring that as well as Junior Hoylett. So, again, there's a lot of variables. And again, with someone like Kieran Richardson, he's been in the Premier League for over 10 years, never really nailed a place down, and if he comes with Cardiff to the desire to
don't know how West Brom that year they saved them.
That was a long time ago now.
Yeah, it was. But he's got it.
I don't think I'd start skill when that was.
How likely is that to happen then, Phil? What did Warnock say this morning?
I think, from my understanding, they first spoke to Richardson very early in the week, Monday, Tuesday. He's been down, he's training with the team. That would suggest to me that it's likely. There's a bit of caution because you never know with these things. Someone else might pick up the phone. West Brom might pick up the phone and say, Kieran, we want you in now. You know what I mean? So, but I think you'd have to say the indications are that it will happen.
A player of that calibre would have been signed by now, I would have said, if a Premier League club. Problem is, you're not at. It's only clubs like Cardiff in the Championship at the bottom, which you're not expected to be, who are in panic mode at the moment. You know, it's true. You know, you can see what could happen if we don't get this sorted in a very short, quick space of time. This could be a nightmare. So I think he would have gone elsewhere by now.
Okay, but let's imagine he does join. We've got 4 new signings going forward. What is Cardiff City's best 11? And I know it's probably difficult when you haven't seen any of these 4 play, but we'll ignore that for a minute and just play the game.
I'm thinking back to Warnock's QPR, the last team he took up. They were kind of a 4-2-3-1. You had a big man up front, Turat in the hole, and then you had Carl Henry in midfield. I can see that kind of 4-2-3. I can see that working for Cardiff if you want to use that. Pilkington, Schumacher, Lambert, 2 of those 3. Then you've
4-1-4-1 would work.
Noon, Harris, Hoylett.
4-3-3.
Play 2 of them and have genuine wingers, couple in midfield.
You're just going through all the options.
Well, it depends.
What would you do? Is that what you're asking?
One player that we haven't even mentioned is Lex Immers. Now, if Lex Immers is performing at the level he was last season, he's one of my first names on the team sheet. If he's performing as he has been this season, he's not going to get in ahead of other players. And that's, I know what you're saying. If it was your best team, I personally would have Hoylett, Noon, Lambert, Immers. If they were all playing to the top of it, that would be my front 4. And I think you'd have just about everything. But
Lambert, say it again.
Lambert and Immers.
Yeah.
With Noon and Hoylett out wide.
Okay.
No Pilkington.
No Pilkington?
That's why I'm not the manager.
I'd go Hoylett and Harris. And Schumacher. And Ricky Lambert. They would really be fighting for that 9 shirt.
Okay.
I'd have a 4-3-3 system.
Okay.
That's what I'd go with.
Okay. But if you guys put your money on new signings in terms of Bristol City starting, you think Hoylett the most likely?
I think so. That seems to be the indication. He's had a bit of football for Canada, I think, so they probably think he's the close one. Like Blakey says, I can see Bamber being a first team regular going forward. I'd be surprised if it was as quickly as this Friday. Schumacher, it depends on Lambert's injury, really, because I know Lambert's got a bit of a niggle, which isn't. It's not like one of those that are always ruled out, but it's just. At that stage of his career, we need to keep an eye on this. I think the suggestion is that if Lambert wasn't ready, then Schumacher would come straight in.
Because they, like you say, they can go to a 4-2-3-1, which I think also suits them. Like they have the midfielders in the likes of Gunnarsson, Rowles, Whittingham. You can play the 2 holders. You can play like a Chelsea do with a Fabregas and a stopper next to him, like Gunnarsson, or you can play 2 stoppers and ask Rowles to do one side and Gunnarsson to do the other. So they've got the signings are good because like you say, if Richardson on board as well, you look at 2 of the 4 and you say, well, there's a lot of pace. All 4 got a lot of experience. One is a leader. Well, Kieran Richardson I would put down and Schumacher. I would put down 3 of the 4 signings as what I would say have leadership qualities also. So, you know, there's a lot of ticks in the box for the signings for me. And what it'll also do as well, it gives everyone a kick at the backside. You realise, right, these 4 are probably going to play. That leaves, you know, 5 other places, isn't it? There's not a goalkeeper. So at least 5 other places. So all those people who've been comfortable in the comfort zone for the last 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, it's fight for your place time, and I love that. I love that.
Absolutely. It all begins then. Friday night, Bristol City, the derby. How difficult a game is that, though? Taking the Warnock thing out.
I'd love to be in that game. I would. I miss derbies. I think it's just what you need. I think Warnock will relish it because it gives him the chance to fire everything up. Fans, players. You don't. Listen, if you don't get up for it anyway, but we know in past years, this derby's come along, and sometimes we perform and sometimes we don't. We don't really know what's going to come out. Trust me, they'll be fired up. Yeah. That's one thing you can guarantee. They'll be going in there not to lose. This is a derby. You know, that's why derbies end up with so many scuffles and red cards and what have you, because that bragging right, that embarrassment, it surfaces right to the top. You don't want to be the one who's embarrassed, and you want to be the one who has the bragging rights, and you'll do almost anything to get there. That's why it becomes such a real tussle.
So what sort of crowd will they be hoping for? Because I know they've done a bit of a deal, haven't they, for season ticket holders? You can bring quite a few mates for a fiver and all the rest of it. The TV thing have an impact on it?
I don't. Well, it will do, won't it? It's always tempting. If it's, Friday comes around and the weather's a bit
cold and wet and all the rest of it.
Yeah. I don't know. You'd be hoping they'd get nearly 20,000, wouldn't you? I think. I'd hope so.
Yeah, I think the way things have gone, I don't think everyone will come back through the gate. Like no, I think, but I think if you get an 18,000, then you've done really well. You've already picked up probably 5,000 or 6,000 on top of what your gate was, but the powers that be then, they're the ones who are going to have to work on this. I think I said last week, this is kind of like the hierarchy. They might not see it this way, but this is the way I see it, and from what I hear on the street, this is kind of like your last chance, really. If you don't get it right now, and this, if Neil Warnock gets it right on the pitch and you don't get it right off, and then in 12 months or 18 months' time, Neil walks away or goes on to another job or wherever, the club has got to have itself ready to make good decisions and in a good place and set up structurally well, because if it doesn't, then as quickly as you go up, the uplift, the upsurge, boom, it'll go back down even quicker, because the disappointment will just be too much for people to bear.
Absolutely. In terms of Bristol then, the obligatory danger man, is there only one man for Bristol City?
Well, everyone's talking about Tammy Abraham, but they've got some players of unbelievable quality in that team. Lee Tomlin. He's a fantastic footballer. Exactly the kind of player Cardiff haven't signed for a long, long time. And he's got a real box of tricks, and he's got great vision. Aidan Flint, centre half, he's an excellent player, big threat from set pieces. He won't be intimidated by playing against Ricky Lambert. They really have got quality all the way through their team.
Yeah, they're decent stuff.
I wouldn't be surprised to see them top 10, even close to the playoffs at the end of the season, because they've got depth, they've got variety.
And they've pulled them some great results out this season as well.
They went to Craven Cottage and won 4-0. Fulham have been playing really well this season. They've got a manager who makes his side tough to beat, and they rocked up 4-0. It's an unbelievable result. So,
and a few comebacks last minute, which tells you they go and go.
Yeah.
Should be good, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it.
It's fantastic. That's what you want. You want a tough game, where they're going to have to perform.
Well, it sets you up. If you win the game and win it well, your confidence will be so much higher than if you beat, one of the lower teams then. And it's not a derby. Don't get me wrong, you still get fired into it, but, it's that pride, that passion, which you'll carry on to your next game now, and you'll believe beating someone like that. We're capable of beating most teams in this league, if not all.
Well, what if it doesn't go right on Friday night? What if they were to lose 2-3-0? Things would appear to be a bit of a mess on the pitch. Cardiff fans have quite quickly, maybe not turned, but certainly under Slade and Trollope, it hasn't taken long for murmurs to start. Does Warnock's personality buy him a lot more time than your average manager?
Yeah.
To a point.
Yeah, but you know what today's football's like? If Neil got off to 5 losses, so
I almost sense he could lose 5 games and people would still.
But of course they will. They'll back him. But what I'm saying is, there will be, even if he gets off to 5 wins, you'll still have people out there who will say, "Well, I don't think he's the right man for the job." Do you know what I mean? So if there's 5 losses, people might start to think that. But you're right. His reputation tells you, listen, over time, this guy will get it right. But with the length of contract he signed, and the way modern day football is, time is not your best friend anymore. Do you know what I mean? So, but he clearly feels confident in the players at his disposal and the players he brought in, that he can do something fairly quickly. And I think he will. I think he can.
On that note, Anthony Hughes says, Cardiff are 100 to 1 to get promoted with William Hill. I'd put £20 on it. Would Blakey place a bet?
I would. In fact, that's not bad. I don't. You might have to tell me how to do it, because I.
You don't bet or drink?
No, I do have a tip or here and there, but I don't really know how to bet. I only ever bet to win. When people start saying like accumulators, I'm like, hey, listen, algebra, I got no chance. So, 100 to 1, I might have a little. I might even go and put. What's that for? To get in the playoffs?
To get promoted, I think he says. Yeah, I don't know what it is to get into the...
101?
Just to get into the... I think they're like 700 to 1 to actually win the championship, which is probably not worth...
no, but I might stick a tenner on each one to win it, to get promoted, and to get into the playoffs. Yeah, I think you'd probably get 60s, wouldn't you then? 66s to get in the playoffs.
I think the thing about the championship is if... I don't see Warnock coming in and winning the next 10 games, because I think there's so much has to improve. It's going to take a little time. If Warnock can get them to the turn of the year, 10th, 12th, something like that, then anything can happen.
You'll be surprised though at the men. This is what I say, Phil, about when you're on the outside of football, you do just say it's down to the playing. Trust me, it's something that happens with your mentality. And if what I envisage happens, anything can happen. They could go, seriously, they could go 10 games, bang, 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 win. I don't think they'll go...
They're 12 points off the playoffs.
Yeah, listen, that's sort of 4 games, right? And I would say you can close that gap over the course of probably, realistically, 15 games, right? So then you're over halfway through the season. Do you know what I mean? Still halfway through the season, and then you're in, say, the top 8, top 6. Listen, it can be done. I feel really enthusiastic about.
I can tell.
I am. It's nice to have someone who I look at and think, you know, yeah, he's. I know exactly what he's about. I know I've played against his teams. Me and him have probably had words on the touchline, saying, hi Neil, how are you? And he's saying, hi Nave, how are you? All pleasantries and all that. But I think he's great. I think he's good for the game. I think the game sometimes forgets that style of management then is almost seen as something from the past. And I always say, well, no, because men are men. And you want your men to be men. You hear it all the time now, don't you? Lack of leaders. Lack of leaders.
I texted you that quote from his first press conference, didn't I? Where you can get a degree from Warwick University that you think entitles you to be a manager.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't. Like a coach, he was alluding to what I was saying about the coaching. These academic coaches.
Yeah.
It's true. Because you got to, he will know from his experience over time, the knowledge, he'll have the similar sort of knowledge that a player would have. Yeah? Not exact, but he will have because he would have seen so many different incidents over the years, handle some good, handle some bad, some indifferent, learn from what he's handled good, learn from what he's handled bad, improve. Look, you don't get 7 promotions by luck. End of. You know what you're doing. And he's got a right to say what he's saying about the game for me, because it is going very gentle and, people just aren't like that. And when it means so much to you to win, you lose your rag. You know what I mean? You literally, practically kill the win. Do you know what I mean? You put everything on that line. So, and it's got to. It can't mean more to the manager than the players. It's got to mean that much to you as well. And that's what I think he brings, is that, and I think that's where you can see the excitement in the fans, is they know what they're getting.
Absolutely. Let's have a couple of comments. Well, this is an excited fan here. Nick says, I foresee a gold statue of Neil Warnock outside the main entrance of the Cardiff City Stadium in 50 years with the caption, "He took us to Europe." Maybe it'll be next to the one of you if they ever get round to building it. You never know.
You never know, Phil. It might get a statue of you, mate.
Well, yeah.
It's great that the fans are looking forward to a game. That's all I'll say on it. That's all I'll say. What's the point in football if you look into the game and go,
but this
what's the point?
This is the point I make about the club, the hierarchy jumping on the back of it. Now you can hear the anticipation, the excitement, the love coming back for, we're not sat here going, well, Bristol City, that's going to be a difficult one. Predictions,
I was about to come
you actually start, you're thinking to yourself, bring it on, Bristol City, love that, just what we need.
Let's have your predictions then. 2-0 Bristol.
9-0 win. No, I think it would be a real strong game. I'm going to go 3-2 win. I think it'll be a barnstormer, and I think bit of lady luck, because that tends to happen with a new manager. Bristol City, trust me, will be going, no. Nothing worse than you think, we're going to kick them while they're down. And then they go, Neil Warnock's just been installed as Cardiff City manager. 1 new manager, 2 Neil Warnock. Man, they're going to be right up for it. All the fans are going to be up for it. It's a totally different animal. Do you understand what I mean? That you're facing now. You're facing a cat. Now you're facing a lion. It's like, it's going to be difficult, but I'm looking forward to it. Excited. It's about time.
Phil, beat that.
3-2.
I'm going to go
beat that.
2-2 draw. Sol Bamba off the bench, last minute header to equalise it, and go on and beat Sheffield Wednesday on Wednesday.
Love it, Phil. Love it. No, it's nice. I just like to say to all the fans that were writing in, positive comments, looking forward to going back. Some of them who haven't been, and I can't reiterate enough. The club need to get hold of, what's going on. This is the way you invigorate fans. Not changing strip colours, not doing all your customers, and don't do this and that. This is the way you get your club going again. So don't miss the opportunity. Get down
there. Don't watch it on telly.
No, I'm going. I'm definitely going.
Good man. Okay, I think we'll leave it there and look forward to it. Exciting times. Thank you very much for joining us. Thanks for all your comments. Make sure you get down there on Friday night. Blakey will be very upset if you don't, as will Neil Warnock. As it goes, plenty of build-up in the coming couple of days before that game, and of course we'll be live on Friday night with all the action. We'll see you then.